Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Upper left-hand corner, we've got Pauline starting as the magenta Zerg. And bottom left-hand corner, we have Wizard, this time as the mustard yellow. Not sure what color yellow they call this. I don't think this is tan. I think it is just, it's mustard yellow. That's what it is. That's what we're going to leave it called. Zerg bottom left. Wizard, one game away from advancing. Pauline has struck blood though. He's managed to get a win. Now we're on Dominator. And Pauline's shown a little bit more aggressive tendency with initial Zergling attacks. Wizards defended them reasonably well. Last match he left 2 drones out, which really hurt him. This we have an inverted ramp scenario, which can make Zergling attacks a little bit more successful. It's a little bit more challenging to create the concavity around the inverted ramps and provides a little bit more opportunity for spill throughs. Also, Pauline is going to end up with the initial Overlord Scout, which is not always, but it's a considerable advantage over your opponent when your Overlord floats into your base. You can see exactly what you're doing in the initial stages. Sometimes, if they can make their way to layer tech fairly quickly, they can turn that around and use that to advantage to pick off an Overlord at near side corner. Depending on scenario, of course. Overlord first build on both sides. We'll see if either player risks a 12th hatch. I feel like this is a riskier map to go for expansions. Wizard is in fact going to go for the overpool. Overpool opposite side. The pool got down a little bit faster here from Pauline, and kind of an interesting, I think this is positioned to try to optimize the gas mining here. I actually wonder if this actually allows for better gas, and if that ends up being a factor in ZVZ. I had never thought about that before, that maybe the bottom left-hand corner base, because you can put the spawning pool in such a position, because it's a south to north hatchery to gas location, that could actually be a significant advantage, because it boosts mining time briefly along that spawning pool line. And I don't think that's like a decider ZVZ, but it's a small advantage that might go that direction. In the meantime, Wizard has spotted the 3 o'clock location by process of, well, potentially by process of elimination. He's just kind of holding there. He doesn't have exact information because there are a lot of one base builds for Zerg. Whole lot of one base builds. Pauline, by the way, has not seen the edge of the hatchery, and he's going to go ahead and dive all the way into the main with his units. Both players investing in Zergling speed first and getting those initial 6 Zerglings onto the map. Pauline knows where to send his. Wizard does by process of elimination, but doesn't have a lot of information otherwise. Pauline this time, let's see if he, okay, I was about to say, is he going to play more defensively? Another aspect of the map, of course, are the pizza slices, as we affectionately call them, because you have the vision issue, and that can also lead into scenarios where if the Zerglings flood in at precise positions, you can end up with better concavity. This Zergling, speaking of which, trying to scoop around, is going to survive the gauntlet and is able to confirm the natural expansion, should retreat and have a decent amount of health on the follow-up. Interestingly enough, after checking the layer timing, Pauline just checking the natural and proceeding from there. Zergling making its way back in, getting a few tacks on one of the eggs just to let Pauline know that he knows the egg's there. A drone is idle here for Pauline at the natural, needs to cycle in. Again, every little bit hurts, but once again in the build orders, Pauline has managed to, it looked like, sneak a drone up a little bit more rapidly. Wizard slightly up in supply, however. It looks like he's got 2 supply advantage. Inverting that by doing the defensive creep colony once again. This is going to put him 1 worker behind. That was another aspect I should mention in the previous 2 matches. That'll give him a better defense against the Zerglings on the ground, but that does put him economically behind Pauline. And Pauline, upon spotting this, actually investing in 2 additional drones. So he's going to end up with an economic lead at a fairly sizable distance to work with as well. Zerglings being pushed out on location. Spire going up. Right now, as things stand, Pauline in a pretty comfortable position. Let's see if, I will say in game 1, game 2, I don't know if it's tournament nerds or not, he was grabbing his natural expansion gas a little bit more rapidly than I think he should have. Zergling flood coming, by the way, now for Pauline. 2 Zerglings this time going to be able to sneak in underneath, but we've got a pack of 6 Zerglings waiting for them. The inverted ramp helping on the defense in this instance. Pauline gathering up, taking a shot, and backing off. This is well before the Spire timing. And Pauline just surging the drones. Holy cow. Up to 16 drones in the midst of this. And Wizard, where is this? It's just compounding. His supply is not keeping up at all. So we're going to have... We'll see how this works out. He's got more Zerglings to work with. But, I don't know. I think Pauline's just going to be able to overtake him fairly easily. Natural expansion gas up. Zerglings scooting through the corner. We've got some additional Zerglings being built in the main. The Zergling's able to confirm the Spire timing. Got a drone as well. But Wizard, I think if he's going to stay relevant in this, needs to go. Pauline using that extra resource boost to, one, get +1 weapons on the Mutalisks. And additionally, is going to end up with a few more Mutalisks in the air. This is Wizard's moment. Starting to fan out onto the map with a lot of the Zerglings. Pauline hiding a lot of his Zerglings to the right. And engaging on the pizza slices. Is getting pretty good concavity. And Wizard backing off, recognizing he wasn't going to win that fight heads up. Is drawing back. It looks like one Zergling made it to the natural. And the problem for Wizard now is he is just flat out economically behind. He's not going to be able to keep up as far as flat production. Pauline with the 4-drone lead, and in particular having that natural expansion gas in his clutches right this second, he's just going to be able to surge this into a much better air fleet. A handful of Scourge making the way across to maybe land a hit, but we already have 5 Mutalisks up in the air. In the meantime, how many Mutalisks? It's 5 versus 3 right this second. 4th one just producing, the Scourge fanning out. They're hoping to score they are able to score a hit on the Mutalisk as it spawns. That's the trick I was trying to mention in the previous match, if people recall, by the way. Sometimes you can also do a single Scourge hovering, and if 2 Scourge are there, they'll sometimes trigger on the 2 Scourge, and you kind of get bonus with that, but it's a little bit, if I recall, that's a little bit harder to pull off, and there's definitely a timing issue with it. Advanced Zerg tactics. In the meantime, Pauline making his way into enemy territory might end up in trouble though, because we have support Scourge and it's even Mutalisks otherwise. Starting to draw back out of the 9 o'clock location just in the nick of time. He still has a larger air fleet, and if he waits for +1 weapons, he'll be in a really good position. In the meantime, Wizard has managed to drone up a little bit heavier, but he's well down on supply. Is mining heavily at that natural. +1 weapons should finish in the next 15 seconds, I believe. But Pauline's still defending up. I don't think he recognizes where he's at in the build order, which it's hard to tell with Zerg versus Zerg. Wizard making his way out onto the map. He's running into a desperate situation though. He sits and engages, so one didn't end up with a better engagement there. All the Scourge have been expended both sides. And we have a serious Mutalisk advantage for Pauline, and +1 weapons just finished. Got brutalized. Pauline is easily going to be able to sweep that game from here. 20 supply lead in a moment. And Overlords and Zerglings going to get wiped out as they're making their way across too. This is kind of a desperation counter from Wizard. But as soon as these Zerglings are mostly cleared out, Pauline can just make way. It looks like some Scourge wiping out Scourge in the background. As soon as these Zerglings are wiped out, Pauline can just send the entire attack force. And that single sunken is not going to cut it. Yeah, he can just go for the full-on counter at this stage, and that'll be matched. These 4 Zerglings trying to hide. 1 made it through. Never mind. 0 made it through. And Scourger also picking off Overlord. I think Pauline recognizes that Wizard's at full breach right this second. Wizard even trying to sneak an additional drone in the space of that, but it's not going to happen. The Zergling's making the way in. Should be able to wipe out that sunken. There's the GG from Wizard, and Pauline all of a sudden showing signs of life and has evened things up 2 apiece. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We got a series. Thanks for listening.